Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. The FNS versus Boostio drama has been continuing over the last couple of days, and Cloud9 Xeppaa, he gets into the discussion as well, deciding which IGL he would put on his team if he had to make that decision. Of course, over the last couple of months, it's been pretty dramatic over at Cloud9 with the Rossi change that they made controversially so. But Xeppaa believes that Boostio is the man to go for over FNS based on these recent performances. Very much into your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. I don't know what's going on here. We're just going to move on. First of all, thought this is kind of cool actually from Elizabeth. She was talking about DG Zan and Gen.G and the other players she's interacted with over the last few days, for example from 2Game. But yeah, she also gasses up Zelta, saying that he's the most patient, understanding man alive, and then doesn't put a pic of him. So Zelta says, I guess I have to be, given that circumstance. I thought it was pretty funny. They also dropped this, the VCT 2025 season capsule, and these are actually pretty cool. We know that the banners or the player cards, whatever you want to call them, for the teams have been causing some drama because they're not as unique as they were last year. And okay, these aren't also massively different, but they're still pretty nice, and there is some interesting different elements. It's not just the same image with the different logo. It is actually a different image with the way that they've got the screens laid out and like the players and the way that they're running and all this type of stuff. So yeah, I kind of like it really. The Pacific, of course, EMEA, China, and then the Americas. It's not bad. Obviously, there has been some talk recently as well that maybe the team player cards, they could potentially change them, or they might have the opportunity opens to make them a little bit more unique going forwards. But yeah, the season capsules here, so you can either spend all your money on the season capsule or on the individual team ones, and there's some interesting developments on that over the last couple of days. So that's what it looks like. I thought the Karambits did look pretty nice, to be fair, for the various regions. But some big results as well yesterday on the Challenger side. So there's a lot of development really on this Shopify Rebellion Gold team. People are really looking forward to seeing how they'll get on, because for the last few years, the idea of a Game Changers team qualifying for Challengers seemed a little bit too far-fetched. Like, obviously, the Game Changers team, mainly this SR roster, would be dominating in region or in their own league. But then when it came to qualifying through in January, which is obviously just happened for the Challenger side, they will often go out very early on in some of the early rounds. This time, though, they actually did qualify, and it was a remarkable story. Obviously, Mel and the rest of the team still doing well over there. And this series against Nightblight Gaming, look, the reality is that SR, they're now in challenges. It's a continued uphill battle for that team, but nonetheless, they've been pretty competitive. Unfortunately for, SRG, as they are here, the opportunities game one were there. This series was undeniably winnable. They won the first half 9-3. They then went up 12-3 before squandering 9 rounds in a row to make it 12-12. But they still won in overtime. So, it was a crazy map here, right? I'm sure that SR will feel like they should have closed this out more convincingly. And this was an all-time fake comeback here from Nightblight Gaming to win 9-0 and still lose the map. But after that, they then bounced back. It was 13-7 on the Pearl and then 13-6 on the Abyss. So, yeah, maybe just an interesting one, right? A crazy, crazy haven. But after this point, obviously, Nightblight Gaming did turn up and they got the job done in the end with Boy and other players you may be familiar with. Couple of other interesting series to note. M80 versus YFP was a big one. This M80 team has been, with Caillou and Okonos and the roster that they put together over there. A different roster, a substantially different roster to what they've had for the last couple of years in that region. They've done very well over the last couple of years, as we know, nearly winning Ascension on a couple of occasions, but not falling short both times. This time, they've got a brand new roster. Nismo's long gone. Lots of the players are long gone as well. So, all to various regions, to be fair, around the world. Xander's gone, of course, over to 100T. So, big changes happened, and therefore they needed to build from the ground up again. This, it seems, is what they're going to be going for, and they've actually done really well so far. The Rankers, they took down Burger Boys 2-0, and yeah, they continue to be super, super impressive, right? Obviously, look, the Burger Boys, on paper, not going to be the strongest team in challenges, but still, Baby J's roster has been cooking, and Poppin had 3 kills map 1, and they still managed to win the map. So, yeah, he bounced back a little bit game 2 with Baby J dropping down to 5, but it didn't matter. So, yeah, almost every series that Rankers play right now is actually very impressive, and it is early days, but this is how it looks so far. So, M80, they've played 4 maps, they've won all 4, and they are currently plus 33 round counts. Rankers are 2-0, they've played 5 maps, so they've won 4 out of the 5 of them, and 61 in 31 is their map count. TSM had a dominant first series they played. So, you know, much more to come. Loads of matches happening over the coming days, but we do have 2 teams, SR Gold and Ambrosio, are starting out 0-2, and of course you need to be in the top half there if you want to qualify for the playoffs in the next stage. So yeah, the 4 games remaining go as follows. TSM play Trust in Plug, Cubit play Sad, Blue play Mori, and then SRB play QOR. So of course we've got a couple of SR teams in here, which is definitely interesting because obviously having multiple SR teams raises always questions in terms of competitive integrity, and if they happen to not even just play each other, which would be a question mark, but certainly if they play a certain team and maybe one result will favour their other team, might be the favourite team. These are the type of things that have happened in esports history, but is it the end of the world? Not really, as far as I'm concerned. There's also this interesting development, speaking of coaches and leaders in general, the Cubit Academy. They want an assistant coach. If you want to apply, feel free to do so. And as he says, reply in the form below if you want to work with me in this amazing project. So maybe I'll apply. If you do want to apply, this is what the form looks like. So, you know, name, email, etc., Discord, and, you know, some experience, some why should you be selected and all this. And this is really funny, right? So, you know, obviously there's no character limit, I don't think, here if you guys want to enter this, but they do want you to do a write-up on basically anti-strat write-ups for SEN Split and Gen.G Lotus. So pretty interesting. Obviously, if you want to put a 113-page document together, you would be more than welcome to do so. But yeah, that's the application there for the SEN Academy. And this I thought was pretty funny, really, because in the replies to this, we also got Chet, as he says, I got you, don't worry, right? So yeah, I thought it was pretty funny, the idea of Chet, former coach of NRG, of course, with all the drama that he's had over the last couple of months, saying, hey, Sentinels, which is basically Sentinels here, Dapper, working for the you know, the SEN Academy for all intents and purposes, saying, like, I got you, don't worry, get me in, and I'll get the job done. So I thought it was pretty interesting, really. Dapper opening the door. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of applications there, but I think Sentinels are doing the right thing by saying, hey, this isn't just like, oh, hey, I'd be a good coach. It's like, okay, show me what you can do. Let's talk, though, about this. Xeppaa gave his thoughts on the drama, really, with FNS and Boostio over the last couple of days. There's been lots of it. Both of them played pretty terribly in their series to lose the tournament. It was true for Boostio against NRG, and it was true for NRG against Crew when they bailed out of the tournament just a couple of days ago. So the question, I guess, really was, who's the better in-game leader? Who won the drama on some level, right, between FNS and Boostio that has continued over the last few days? If you had to form a team from the ground up, who would you bring in? Of course, FNS, he has bucket loads of experience across decades worth of esports work, and it's not like he hasn't won in Valorant. With Optic, you know, he's made it deep in tournaments for many years in Valorant since he was first competing in it, but his mechanics aren't as strong as some other players. I mean, they're probably some of the weakest in the league, and he is in a similar position to some of the other in-game leaders in that category. Boostio, his mechanics are probably stronger, but his numbers aren't always necessarily so much better, although that is generally speaking true, I would say, if you look at the numbers over the last couple of years. But still, Boostio has won a world championship more recently. He has been more successful in recent times, and therefore Xeppaa says he's the man to get.
I need you to make it the chance, little bro. I got you, little bro. I'm trying to lock in, bro. I'm trying to lock in.
Defenders win.
Would you rather have FNS or Boostio on your team? Boostio. Only because he's won champs. Placed second in Tokyo. He had a better career in year. And then yeah, no. Yeah.
Baby. Show this clip on your
So in Twitter, your thoughts in the comment section below. Who do you think is a better player, FNS, Boostio? The reality is, as FNS said, doesn't really matter. They're both out of the tournament early on anyway. They've got lots of work to do. But yeah, I guess if you were forced to make a change, would you get Boostio? Would you get FNS? I think it is a matter for debate, right? Because Boostio is going to be stronger individually, I suppose. You can probably rely on him to frag harder. But still, I mean, look, at the end of the day, NRG won the Soup Live TV whatever tournament only a couple of months ago, right? And obviously Boostio's team won the World Championship, and that was feels like quite a long time ago now, to be honest. And sure, 100T did quite well last season, but not well enough as far as they're concerned. Speaking of 100T, I thought it was very interesting that Artzan, it was actually confirmed that he's been leading the team. He's become the in-game leader of MIBR since the 100T game. And it's actually worked out especially well. He even commented on it himself and said basically the following, and gives Nozwa quite a lot of credit because, you know, he continues to do a very important role for the team. He says, know that this does not mean anything to create any kind of drama. We're trusting in the team. But it's interesting, right, when, you know, Artzan will replace their in-game leader, and therefore it always becomes a question of, okay, well, if the team starts to underperform or doesn't deliver what they want, whether that, you know, former in-game leader is then shortly going to be out of the picture if they're not delivering numbers and they're not leading, then of course it's a question, right? But yeah, very much interested in your thoughts in the comments below. These are the big games this week. They begin, I think it's 2 days' time. We get back underway with the conclusion here to all the respective kickoffs, and it's Gen.G to MIBR Crew. Those are the two final games in EMEA. Winner side, loser side. We know what's happening in China, but yeah, in a couple of days' time, we are going to get all the resolutions of the VCT kickoffs around the world. So very much interested in your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.